Welcome back to Walker's Country Messes About with Chainsaws Life YouTube channel. Following on from the 440/460 video, if you watched that video, you'll know I've got a 462 today here. So today I'm going to do a bit of a review. I think this might be my first proper review on a Stihl 462. So I think I'm going to come around there. You can probably hear me a bit better. The Stihl 462. So this is the only 70cc Stihl I haven't run. I've run 044s, 046s, 064s, 461 I had. There's quite a few videos on that. And obviously all the 70cc Husky stuff. I've got 372X Torx, 372XP. And I suppose crucially for this saw, I've got a 500i. So the biggest question has always there's always rumours, isn't there? Is this saw going to be discontinued? Where does it fit in? It's so close on weight to a 500i, but it's a little bit down on power. And yet the new 400.1 is lighter, but also quite close on power. So sometimes you sort of look at the stats and think they're not going to make this saw for much longer. 72cc, isn't it? So a little bit down on the 460 and the 461. So really a direct competitor for the 572, which I have got, but I haven't got time today to run them back to back. So we'll do some timed cuts at some point between the two. But I wanted to do this more as a standalone review of how does it feel just in isolation. And then we'll do another video where we get the 572, the 500i, and a few other saws together and do a bit of a cut off, I think. But cut speed isn't everything, is it? It's not. It isn't for me, certainly. I've noticed, chain has the most effect on stuff, doesn't it? And really, I'm a little bit biased still at the 200 series Husqvarnas. I'm more about the form factor and the weight, how slim. I prefer a longer, slimmer saw. So I think that's probably why I didn't pick my 461 up as much as I should have, even though that was a great saw. But yeah, let's get this fired up and then get it into wood and see what we think. So this saw is stone cold. It's been really kindly, I should say, lent to me by a subscriber called Patrick, who's a really nice guy. I've done a few little saw trades and deals with him. He's not using it at the moment, so he said, have a run on it, see what you think. It needs some hours put on it. He thinks he's got about 10 hours on it. So yeah, let's give her a bit of a start up, see where we go. No primer bulb on this. It is just the old school Stihl choke fast idle on and off switch. So yeah, I haven't started it at all today. Let's put it all the way down to choke. See where we go. See where we go. There we go. What do we think about that? Hang around and you'll find out what I think. Oh, what a day. What a day. What a day to be alive. What a day to be a chainsaw enthusiast. What a day to get stung on the leg through chainsaw trousers. Well, that was interesting. Initial impressions. So obviously this has got a West Coast Saws bark box on it. The sound of the saw and just the initial feel of it when I was over on that oak, first of all, reminded me, if I'd closed my eyes, I would have thought I was running my 572. The noise is identical, the feel of the saw is pretty identical, the way it pulls, throttle response, yeah, definitely feels very close to a 572 on initial impressions. This is the bar and chain from the 572 in the last video, by the way. So it's Hexa. It's been sharpened a couple of times, but it's not terrible. It feels pretty sharp actually. Yeah, this saw cuts, as you can see. This is ash that's been down about a year. Probably 14-15 inch diameter, 25-inch bar, and yeah, she flies through it. This is like a one saw plan type saw, I'd say. Really, it feels a little bit less intimidating than a 500i to run. It's difficult to say, just feels a little bit less serious. Does that make sense? It's a little bit more simple on the controls. Even though there's not a big weight difference, I think the form factor of this saw is smaller, and it feels like that. It feels like a smaller saw than a 500i. Although, yeah, the 572 comparison is valid. It is lighter. It does feel a little bit lighter. Or does a 572 feel heavy? I'm not sure. But what a great little saw. I mean, it's lighter than a 266, pulls way harder. It's got, what's the way I can describe it? It feels like a modern saw. It feels like a high performance but revier, smaller capacity saw, rather than, so I've just been running the 460, the 440, 460 hybrid. All these newer saws, I don't know if it's because they're lighter or because they are slightly smaller capacity for their class, so they are a little bit down on torque, but it does, I think they're just tuned for high revs. They want to rev, they want to be up there. But this is a great feeling saw actually. I'm really impressed. Yeah, obviously we'll do a bit more running with it. Those are literally my first cuts. But yeah, if you went out and bought one of these on the strength of this, it's not really a review, is it? This is just a noddy like me, who's a noddy like you, I suppose. Non-professional, but I've run a few saws in my time. Yeah, just my sort of impressions of the saw, really. Feels a lot lighter than a 461. I never picked up as you know, I never just really picked it up. This is a saw I would pick up, and it's a form factor thing. Form factor, reviness, it does that modern thing like the 572 does. It almost feels ported because the throttle response is so nice, really quick throttle response. Yeah, impressive little saw, I think. Obviously a different power band to the 460, but very similar power. to a 460. Yeah, really good. So I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it kind of does seem to sit in between, you know, just below a 500i, but it feels more wieldy than a 500i. But then part of me would like to get a 28-inch bar and bury it in some big wood, and I bet it would be fine. So yeah, great saw. If you went out and bought one of these today, you would not be disappointed. And there's quite a cost saving over a 500i, and I think really a 500i is just best in big wood, 25, 28, 32-inch bar, using most of that bar. It's not very at home doing limbing, doing little branches, whereas this saw definitely would be. So yeah, let me know. Have you got a 462? What do you think of it? This is, by the way, this is the C, so this is the auto-tune one. I think in some markets you can get the non-auto-tune one, can't you? I assume this is auto-tune. Gotta be, isn't it? Sorry, I should have done my homework a bit better, but I just assume all modern new Pro saws like this are auto-tune. So yeah, have you got one? Have you run one? What do you think? Definitely feels like a... Though I always am wary of talking down on a 461 because the discussion on a 461 is the same as a 372X torque. Those first generation, and I haven't run one, but I think you could probably say the same for a 575, 576. Those first generation stratified saws, just they're kind of the worst of both worlds in a way. They're as heavy as their predecessors, but with the newer stratified engines, or in some cases they're a little bit heavier, aren't they? But the engine, they hadn't quite worked out how to make the power from a stratified saw. Both those saws, the 372 XPX torque, which is the same cc as this, 70cc, and the 461, both really wake up with some mods, and I think that's because they're just happier at higher revs, and I think the manufacturers didn't really realise that at the time, and they didn't really optimise it for higher revs. Whereas with these new generation of saws, so this 462, the 572, the 500i, they're definitely built to be more efficient at higher revs, and they're built to be kept at higher revs. So yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully that will make sense. But yeah, let me know. Is a review from me something you'd like to see more of, or am I talking rubbish and you're not going to listen to me because I'm clearly not a professional? But anyway, either way, thanks for watching. Thanks again for all the watches and the likes and the shares and all that, because it's bought me a blimmin' saw. Can't believe it. More to come from the 460.